what if I told you clarity isn't something you wait for? It's actually something that you build. You're not indecisive. You're just under supported by your brand because no matter how many journals you fill or mentors that you hire, if your message isn't reflecting who you truly are and what it is that you want to voice, you'll always feel like you're circling the same mountain. And so in this video, I'm breaking down how to shift from foggy and frustrated to fiercely focused without rebranding for the 100th time. Most visionary women aren't stuck because they lack ambition. Absolutely not. They're stuck because their brilliance has outgrown their brand. If your brand doesn't whisper legacy before you even open your mouth, you'll keep attracting confusion instead of commitment. And that disconnect, that is the cost of staying unclear. Your next level doesn't need a bigger platform. It actually needs clear alignment. And with clear alignment, with that level of clarity, your platform starts to build on its own because people want to be there. It's not just what you say, but in how the right people feel when they land on your page. Champagne clientele, they don't invest in possibility. They invest in precision. And when your brand holds your essence with clarity, you stop marketing to proof and start positioning to attract. So let's break down the 3 Luxe shifts that turn clarity from a concept into a client attracting container. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to clarify your identity beyond your industry. You're going to then message with rhythm and resonance, and you're going to align your visuals to match your brand and the story that it's telling. Let's make your brand feel as aligned as your ambition. So first, we are going to clarify your identity beyond your industry. And what I mean by that is if you're still describing yourself by what you do, not who you are playing small. And premium clients, they hire presence, not just services. So I want you to try this. I want you to rewrite your elevator pitch without naming your title once. And I want you to rewrite your pitch without saying I or we do XYZ for insert clientele here. Instead, I want you to ditch this concept of I help, because I help statements are just blatantly ordinary. They're not extraordinary. And we're going to start it with your ideal audience in mind first. Like women-led businesses, trust me to help them build a brand that attracts champagne clientele and dream dollars. That feels a lot different than I help women create brands that make money. Okay, yeah, me and like 50 million other women. But there's a difference in how that feels, because when I'm building brands through my brand extraordinary method, it's not about how I help people. It's about the transformation that they achieve when we work together in order for them to start building high ticket wins over and over and over again seamlessly, sometimes without even having to hop on a call. A great example of this is I was coaching a client the other day, and we were reshaping how she does her packages, and she was doing these free proposals, and she was finding that nobody was closing, but she was giving away the kitchen sink for free. And I looked at her and I was like, Camarina, we've got to stop this. You need to be able to show them how to create that transformation, but you need to get paid for it. And so within 2 days of us creating this paid proposal that gave more strategy in it than just saying like, here's how you work with me, because I help people all the time. Instead of doing that, she was able to sell 3 of those within 2 days of switching up how she goes through her process and got paid while doing it. And you deserve the same thing. So we want to clarify your identity beyond your industry, because that's going to make you stand out. Then the next shift that we're going to have is we are going to message with rhythm and resonance. This is my favorite thing. Your messaging should feel like music to the right client and static to the wrong ones, because we don't want to work with just anybody. We want to work with the right somebodies. The right somebodies give us testimonials that we're excited to have. The right somebody makes it so we want to do it over and over again, and it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel heavy. And what happens is when we're not doing that, our content is blending in and it's not resonating with others. And it's creating this just blah. So I want you to go back, review your last 3 posts. And did they sound like insight, or were they just instructions on how to do something? Does the design look like everybody else's? Because lately I could pull up like 5 designs. Maybe I'll pop them on the screen. And if I do, I'm going to go boop, 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 boop of where it looks like everybody else's. And ask yourself, is this me, or is this just a carbon copy of everything else we see on the internet every single day? And be brutally honest. And then the last thing that you want to do in these 3 Luxe shifts is we want to align our visuals to match our story. I love doing this for clients. I do it in all of my Making Waves intensives. It is the 3rd step in my Brand Extraordinary method, where I go from visually doing a brand audit via video, telling people where they're drinking, definitely not drinking, they are leaking dream dollars. Then we move into a brainstorm where we talk about the strategy of what it's going to take to get there and what we need to stop doing. But then when we get to Making Wave intensives, that's where the party happens. It's where it's a lot of fun. And in these Making Wave intensives, I help people shift their visuals, their all the photography and all the boring headshots that everybody's using. And then they come to me and say, I don't want too many pictures of myself. Well, yeah. And neither does your clientele if it's not telling a story. And so I want you to think back to little kid books. And when you read little kid books and you're teaching a kid how to read for the first time, if your parents, you remember doing this, or you're going to do it here soon. But if you haven't had that interaction, you're not a teacher, what happens with little kid books is the picture matches the words. Let me say that again. The picture matches the words. And we as human beings take in visuals, I believe it's 60,000 times faster than we take in the written word. So it's really important that your visuals are telling the same story that your messaging says to back it up, because that is what they're going to take in first. And instead of a party of headshots or, heaven forbid, stock photography that looks like it's still 1998, you need to go hire a photographer, work with a brand creative strategist like myself who can take that and build a story through the images that are on anything that you're using, whether it's social, website, content, you name it. Your visuals need to tell the same story as the words that you are sharing. So if this shifted something for you, if I made you a Luxe resource that walks through these brand shifts step by step, and you could find that, let me know in the comments. I will build that for you. But if you're like, forget this mess, I just want to know exactly where I'm leaking dream dollars and how I can find my voice and really start to make these shifts in real time, the first step that you want to do is to book a Brandmuda brand breakthrough with me. That is that video audit. It'll be in the description. And in that video audit, you will just fill out a quick form. You'll tell me exactly what your goals are, and I will go through all of your digital presence and see where those holes may be and how you can fix those holes in a video that you can keep forever. So I'm excited to help you with that. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you're building a brand that gets paid for being iconic and not just busy.